You might need a Starlink as a backup. Are you done yet? Nope. How about now? How about now? Hey, we're back up at 10,000 kilobits.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
I wasn't the problem.
You weren't the problem. It's not you.
It's not me.
Different
I'm not
lyrics.
the problem.
Depends on the context, but welcome back to 2025. Indeed. How we doing, yo? Bump stops on the table. So these are bump stops. Where were we? We'll wait for a couple of y'all to show up, but we'll keep going without undue delay. Thank you, Comcast, for that quick internet bump. That's always nice. So anyway, we were talking about GT3 RS suspension and that Charles has an elegant solution. And luckily, our suppliers are amenable to some of the ideas that we have. They actually produce what's called a bump spring, and Charles was able to find an elegant way to incorporate such an animal, such that we don't have to use bump rubbers and we don't have to use packers. So brilliant. Happy returns indeed. So you guys can catch up with that. We're going to move on to, where was I going? Suspension. So we were talking about our 2024 improvements. So sales for 2024 were up 24% over 2023. In no small part due, and I'll probably more compelling, this is the one that surprised everyone here. Exhausts made up about, what would you say, Charles? Like 57%, 58%, something there, 55, somewhere in there. And the rest was suspension and aero and brakes and other stuff, intakes, not exhaust. So for an exhaust company, we sold a whole lot of not exhausts to make up the 43%, 45% of our revenue in 2024. And that has been a goal that we've had for a while, to try and continue to introduce new products, new product categories, and really do them well. Suspension arms was one that we introduced in 2024 for the GT cars. 2025 will bring non-GT cars to that, both 997, 991, 987, 992. Yep, 992 non-GT cars. This is interesting. I didn't realize this, but when Wyatt told me that he sells MCS 3 or 4 to 1 to non-GT Porsches versus GT Porsches, that kind of got my, What? Wait, what? We're missing out on like 80% of the market here?
Yep.
Holy shit. Okay, well, it's time to fix that. Yes, I'm a GT car snob, but I'm not an idiot. So, well, depends on who you ask. Sometimes I'm an idiot. If you ask my wife, I'm always an idiot, but that's a different conversation. 2025, Hordevier is finishing up some of the designs now. Charles and Hordevier were working on this over the holiday. We've seen a lot of action on that, so we should see some parts soon in that regard. And once they're here, the first one that we'll probably push will be on Mr. Doug Stedding's 991.1 Carrera. We'll get his car in. We'll double check everything, make sure everything is as we wanted it to be, because he also wants MCS for it. And we'll build a whole package for that. We'll start to roll those out. We have a 996 that's been sitting in the parking lot for a few years that we affectionately call Shitbox, for those of you who have been here. It's a term of endearment. It's not a denigration. It is literally a shitbox, but it will be like a phoenix that rises from the ashes. Maybe not in 2025. That
means we got to burn it down first.
Oh fuck! But no, let's not burn it down.
Just fill it full of fireworks and roll it in front of a hotel. too soon.
It's not a Cybertruck, so
It would actually blow up.
we got a number of car projects that need to get across the line this year as well. I'm not sure that Shipbox is in we haven't had our R&D planning meeting for 2025 yet because it's literally the third.
This is quarter 5, 2024.
It's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, that's more accurate than not. It says quarter catch up to 2024, and we'll start
I might just be talking quietly.
2025 in like March is probably more like it. Oh yeah, it's probably too far from his face, especially compared to mine, because I want to swallow the mic. It's a personality trait. Don't worry about me.
Volume.
Whiskey throttle all the time. Let's roll that footage again for those that haven't seen it. You're gonna turn his gain up.
Is it working? Says it's working.
Yeah.
So let's see who's talking.
Check.
Me. Hello.
Oh yeah, yours is.
Yeah.
So you're number one.
Number 1.
Charles is number 1. Don't forget that.
If you're not first, you're
You're last.
last.
Oh. I'm glad we
What?
lost everybody in our.
Scan.
Yeah, I was gonna do the year in review, and then we'll do the scan stuff,
Okay.
so everybody can see it because I was talking over it before. So for those of you that didn't look at our YouTube video or our Instagram posts, this will be our year in review video that Justin put together. You can put the sound up if you want. Yep, all good.
And with that, the 2024 season comes to an end. Good night.
Oh, we're back.
All right, we're back. So, for those of you who haven't seen it, it is up on our YouTube channel, and it is on our Instagram page as well. If you can bring it back up, and we'll like do some stops, and I'll explain what they're looking at. So, this first bit is an elegant cut because that's actually my spin on the chicane day. As you keep going, you could look at the front tires. There's no way I'm saving that. Tires are not pointed out at that point, but the car is already very rotated. And so it continues until I park the car about halfway up that little straightaway to the right-hander, and I'm stopped. So it's the first time I spun, went 90 degrees to the direction of travel in the RS, being greedy on the chicane. All these guys, that's Novin popping a wheelie. This is Gabe in not his car, driving all of our parts very quickly around Laguna Seca. He competed fantastically. We've got 2 other lab rats in this image. This is we got 3 other lab rats. So this is a 992 Ruby Star in the Philippines. This one is Candy Racing, also in the Philippines. Mark Candy. I think he won all of them. I mean, he's got this one in a Camaro, and he's set lap records all over the place. So this has got all of our parts on it, including a tune, which is great. This is Seth Thomas in his 99. I think he's driving his car. It says 992 GT3RS because that we didn't change it. This is during Smokies. This is during Road Atlanta. This is Seth in our car, or sorry, Lee Keen in our car with a big smile on his face because our Charles Dundon setup geometry put a smile on his face, gave him exactly the amount of rear freedom he was looking for, which allowed him to drift through the tightest corner. That was the 3 hot shoes. Technically 4 because Chris is pretty fast. This is Mike Kojima, our suspension guru. We try to listen to him as often as we try to. Sometimes we don't. Most of the time we do. But Mike's awesome. This is Ryan. He is our aerodynamics consultant. He helps us with the CFD. He's actually joining us on Monday. We'll try and get a bit of this on camera. Him and Charles are going over the 992 G3RS. And it's been a good year for us and for Zebulon. A lot of their designs are taking GT cars to places they've never been before, which is being extra fast. So this is one of our local track days. That's me. I look skinnier from that angle than I believe myself to be, with a droopy butt. That's kind of funny. That is our buddy Doug, and we're going over Doug's car. Doug's is, I'll call it a bit of a mutt because it's a 991.1, 991.2 Cup Valkyrie Lab Rat. It's kind of got a lot of shit going on.
Just fit all that, squish it, and put it in the license plate.
Yeah, pretty much. Racer 787, welcome. So this is our time at the track when we get to go. We'll do more on this. This is all the other good things. Jamie washes all the cars. Kind of a normal thing. That was Smokies. This is Christmas Grinch with our friends Brandon Washness. That's him holding lights and tape. This is Taj Sport spinning the car around in a closed course somewhere in Mexico. I don't know what you're talking about. Did not happen. And we just came right home.
Yep.
Came right home. Nothing happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right across the border.
Mm-hmm. Right across the border through Canada, back around. Crazy how that happens. So that was our video year in review. We did a lot. Next year should be similar. We're hoping to be able to send some special cars to the East Coast when that time comes. Some of that depends on outside resources and their ability to make magic happen. We're hoping that that comes together. We're going to continue to bring new products to bear. We're hopeful that by year end 2025, we can begin to offer some of what the effort on Pumpkin has been with some of the other project cars that we've been working on, try to bring that and monetize it, create some kits, create some packages such that people can build their own pumpkins, build their own 996 GT3s with modern drivetrains, build their own Boxsters with modern drivetrains, et cetera, et cetera. So that's one of the, through 2025, this has literally been a goal for 4 years running, maybe 5?
At least.
At least. And a lot of this has been stymied by technology. We haven't had the ability to get the car to play nice with the thing in the ways that we want it to do. Could we have brute forced it with, a Motec or, you know, some other way, less elegant way, yes. And there are a number of others that have already done that. That isn't what we want to do. Could we do it? Yes. Is it possible to do now? Sure. But that isn't the way we wanted to do it. So I believe that there's a slot in the market for the way that we're trying to do it, where it's stock ECUs, all playing nice with chassis ECUs, chassis modules, in a way that's elegant and serviceable with a P-Wiz, and you can do it in Siberia and South Africa and Oman and New Jersey, all at the same ability of without dedicated resources to make it work, right? And not calling Jamie or Charles at, you know, Sunday at 2 a.m. to, you know, why won't my car start? Kind of shit. That don't want that. No bueno. No thank you. We started the year. Charles started the year. So Charles actually took some time off over the holidays, which was wonderful to see. It's a very rare thing for him to not be here, even when there's holidays and shit. He did pop in a couple times. I know you were here a couple times when you were off.
Yeah. Real quick. Pizza.
He dropped off some excess pizza that literally, I think it was gone by 1 o'clock.
Good.
I
We
ate
thought we
more
were
than I
done
should
enough,
have.
and then we had too much, and then I'm like, this isn't gonna last.
It won't last long here. No, it's a bunch of boys. We're gonna eat that shit. He has disassembled the front of the 992 GT3 RS. It's naked. It looks like a fish.
It does look like a fish. That a Dory or something.
It does.
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
Finding Lab Rat.
Finding Arrow. That's a good shot. So we got all kinds of dots, took all kinds of parts off the front of the car, and some of this, the majority of this, is so that we can figure out what Porsche did, why they did it the way they did it, and how we can do it the way we want to do it. It's a lot of little bits and pieces, and I'll give Porsche credit. It's pretty elegant.
Yeah, there's a lot of little details they did. The
Mhm.
cool thing is all the panels on the front are actually sealed to the body with foam. The fender liners, how they all lock together. They tried to get rid of all the little air bleeds in it, reduce all that drag. So they did quite a bit of work.
Yeah, and
So a lot of little
992
details.
992 GT3 guys, get your foam out, get your little get some mastic tape and seal up all the holes in the front. Make it better, because that's all Porsche did for the 3RS.
We
They
could
just-
just make a 992 Valkyrie Gorilla Aero kit.
Foam-
Just send them
The foam kit,
Yeah, just Gorilla tape.
Gorilla Tape, and the spray foam. Just spray this everywhere. I'm sure it'll work out fine.
Just the tube.
So what you're seeing here is, we'll probably incorporate this. We have a video being produced currently. There is a 3D scanning a part has become, I'll say, relatively mainstream in kind of what we do in reverse engineering and developing parts and these kinds of things. The accepted paradigm, I guess, for most out there in the world who don't do this is you scan a thing and magically a CAD file poops out. The pooping part is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's like gestation of an elephant level birthing a whale level work. It's not a small
Well,
thing.
there's two sides of that. There's the reverse engineering side where, like we did with the car,
Mm-hmm.
to use the surfaces from the scan to create solid modeling surfaces for like the car CFD.
As
and then
opposed to
there's-
a point cloud
then
that
there's the
we
point
have.
where you have the 3D picture like we do with the exhaust, where
Right.
you need certain surfaces, dimensions, criteria, primitives, and such to design around that in the same way you would do it, building an exhaust by hand on the
by
car.
hand on the car, right? You'd
Yeah.
like see what your openings are, measure them, and
So
like
this way
pass
it's
things through those
all-
openings. Yeah.
You're using the not just the dimensions, but all the triangle counts in a way to define where you can build or how you're going to build whatever you're building in the space that you're working with.
Right.
So, two different ways to go about it. You can actually, something we don't do because we don't need to, is you can take an STL file, take a scan file like this,
Yep.
and it's possible to modify the STL file. It's possible to modify the STL file in the program to change it from there. But
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to 3D print something only
Sure.
and it's watertight.
Yes.
And
So you can actually scan something and 3D print it. You just can't scan it, CAD it, start to design new parts from it
yeah.
in the same way.
And that's a
right?
lot of guys do that with 3D printing, where if they had a piece that was busted, or they say they wanted to 3D print this bump stop, but
Yeah.
they wanted the bottom of it to be a different diameter of the center hole, you can go in and modify the STL to a point.
Right.
But you couldn't create an entire new part. It would just be too much work. But
Yeah, and
so,
guys with a $70 million Ferrari Daytona would not scan a connecting rod.
that's
without
generally more someone who
regenerating
has
it.
a 3D
Right.
printer on the bench,
Right.
and then they have the scanner and the scan program, but they don't have the CAD program.
Yeah. So they're using the available tools
yeah,
that they
and
have to
that's-
do what they can.
Yeah, we generally
Sure.
don't. We're
Right.
past that, but
We are considering getting a 3D printer. Let me back up. I'm considering getting us a 3D printer, but I'm always reluctant to do it because I know that it's gonna be a clusterfuck. Running any kind of tool like that is always a clusterfuck. Anyone who has one that it's not been a clusterfuck, please reach out. Please let us know, because my number of years as a semiconductor process engineer, any kind of industrial process equipment is always a clusterfuck. It always needs a team to make it run right and keep it healthy and all of this kind of shit. And we don't have that. If I'm going to buy something, I want it to be like an HP printer. You hit the print, shit comes out.
we have HP printers, and we hit print, and shit doesn't come out.
Correct. I mean, we fuck around with the fucking printer more than we need to. And
You should
Yeah.
mess around with the alignment machine printer.
yeah,
Every time you turn it on, it has to whatever.
yeah, redo all the
Takes-
print heads and do
Turn
the
printer
bullshit.
on, hit print, then align the car, then wait 20 minutes. After 3 hours have passed, then it'll.
Then it might actually play nice and do some shit. Yeah,
Maybe.
So I did find there was something interesting. I smashed my HP printer. Please put that on YouTube. I bet you that's very cathartic. Very, very cathartic. So it was interesting. We had a local customer, local guy, real estate guy. Have you guys seen the GT3 RS that went into the river? This was last summer. So it was this guy's 3RS. He sold it to some young kid, and he was in the passenger seat when that happened. I'm glad that he's okay. He's a local guy. He recently got his own car. Need the brother of 3D printers. We do, brother. That's no lie.
Yeah.
So anyway, his name's Scott, and Scott wrote to one of our good friends, Roger, asking if Dundon Motorsports parts were all imported from China and not made in America, because he heard it on the internet.
Who even started that?
I don't fucking know.
Somebody.
Somebody's looking at it, oh, well, somebody imported something, so it must have been done in motorsports. So let me find it. Oh, I actually can't find a record of that they did it, but I'm going to just produce this rumor, and some other dipshit decides to believe it.
Yeah.
Local. And doesn't even ask.
Did he say who it was?
No. So Roger's on the hunt. He's going to try and figure it out for us. But I'm just like, okay, let's talk about this for a minute. Say we did buy parts from Asia that were better than anybody else's parts in the world, that were spec'd the way that we wanted them to be spec'd. that we QC and we use, and we do it better than anyone else. Would that necessarily be wrong? Because it's a global economy.
Yeah.
So if I can't get it from America the way that I want it, is getting it from Asia wrong? I'm going to break everyone's hearts. Do you know where the carbon comes from on your coveted German automobile made by Porsche? Comes from Action Composites.
Yeah, every car. Oh, look at a GT2 RS or a Turbo S Executive. Every carbon part has a made in China sticker on it.
Action Composites
Yeah.
is incorporated in Taiwan, and most of their factories are in China. Oh shit. That means it's junk. Throw your $300,000, excuse me, your $500,000 GT2 RS away. Everything on it's garbage. Come on, fellas. So let's be real here for a second. Yes. Does Dundon Motorsports get parts from all over the world? Yes. Does Dundon Motorsports make all of our parts here in the U.S.? Also, yes. So let's roll this backwards. Charles, did you go clear out the iron mine that we have behind the building? Did you make sure that everything's safe before we close down on Friday night?
No,
No.
I haven't closed it down.
Why? Let's just leave the slaves that we have from East Uzbekistan to keep working in our iron mine in our backyard,
Don't forget about the titanium mine over there.
and the smelter that we have,
Yes.
and the on and on and on and on and
We're
on it
creating
goes.
a lithium mine too.
Yeah,
that's why
which will be
batteries
very
anymore.
lucrative.
Yes.
You know, as we're getting ready.
Yeah.
Don't be a dipshit, y'all. It's a world economy. Yes, we are going to utilize the supply chains as best we can to our advantage and continue to produce the best products in the world. Period. So, if some of them come from Asia, that means they're doing it better than the rest of us, and we should pay attention. And if they're doing it better than the rest of us, then the ones that we're not buying it from should probably call us and ask questions why.
We actually had customer Alan stop by Tennessee today.
Yeah.
And he didn't know.
Yeah.
He walked in and was like, "Oh, this is." He just thought it was going to be a storefront and
Right,
sell
right.
stuff
Oh,
and
shit. You guys make shit?
Show him the row of all the parts, all the printed parts, everything to build stuff. Fab room guys are in there welding, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know." He's like, "Nobody builds stuff in house," and he's in
Right.
manufacturing.
Right.
We do because we have to because nobody else can. So
Correct.
we
They won't
vetted
build
all-
it the way that
we
it needs
vetted
to be
all the
built.
Other places and
Right.
had them all. I think what was it? 5 years ago, we had 30 or 40 companies all send us their best.
Oh,
exhaust
God.
products.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah,
everybody
yeah. I
sent us
remember
the
that.
best stuff, and they're like, "You're gonna love our parts," and we get it. And
Yeah.
there was only one that was like, "Okay, this is okay,"
60%
and it was like,
okay.
"This would probably work and wouldn't fail," but it was.
It's not okay. It's just not okay.
Yeah.
Right? It's funny. So every certified welder we hire that goes through tech school, Charles has to retrain.
Oh.
What's going on?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So Charles literally has to retrain how to weld thin wall tubing and what are the things to pay attention to, because the fact that it's thin wall is one thing. The fact that it's bent and then cut and that the wall is not consistent once it's bent and cut is completely another thing. And so you have to know this, and you have to alter how you weld it to compensate for the thickness of the tube as you're going around a bend. And some of what we've been able to do with 3D printing, with some of the elegance and some of the technology we've been able to employ, and that was also something that happened in 2024, is we literally redesigned every part we make to incorporate 3D printing because it is that important to our future.
And that's not even some parts are actually more expensive, but
Yeah.
we can build them quicker,
Yes.
which benefits all of you guys.
They're more consistent, they're quicker, they're faster. So those of you who are looking through customs documentation to try and troll us, just give it up. Just give it up. It's not worth it. Because what's funny is the producers we have in Asia doing this, they've dedicated whole 3D printers to our parts on our specific metal that they didn't even know about before we asked them to do it. They figured it out. They are doing it. They're doing it to our specification. It's almost like we've started our own manufacturer in a land that is advantageous both in effort, in correspondence, and in give a shit, quite frankly. It's not cost. It's give a shit. If American producers gave the same shits that the suppliers that we have for stuff, we would use them. But most American producers don't. And that's really sad. Hopefully Trump's tariffs change that. I doubt it. But it would be great if they did. Now, those of you who are going to hate on us, do not take what I just said wrong. We make our parts in America with Americans. Downstairs. I'm like pointing
Right
at
below
it.
you. Yeah.
Right below me, right downstairs. And we make all of them. The supplies that we get, we utilize global supply chain to optimize, I don't know, as best we
There's
can. Yeah.
Stuff we get from Formula One suppliers,
Yeah.
and that's a fact.
We get them. Formula One suppliers from Europe. We get things from Europe. We find the best places around the world to serve you, to give you the best parts, period. And I want anybody to show up at my doorstep and counter that and tell me how what we're doing is somehow less than and or deficient in some way. Show up. Come on down. We'll have you on Whiskey Friday.
Something I wouldn't challenge. I would just
I would.
something. Okay, maybe.
Go ahead.
So all of our printed parts are 347. Why 347?
Do you even know what 347 is?
So without getting into it, I'm just gonna say, yeah, it's better stuff. Snapple found better stuff. So did we, but we already knew about it because you have to use 347 rod than welding 321. Wonder why that is.
That's
That's the
crazy.
Justin thing. Because
Yep.
keep nerds out about that. But 3D
That's a
printing-
future Whiskey Friday Academy. It's up and coming.
Yeah.
We'll get that done.
There's another guy out there, everybody knows, not going to name drop or nothing, who's 3D printing alphabet pipes.
A, B, C, D, E,
Nothing
F,
wrong with that.
G.
He does this thing, totally
Yep.
fine, whichever.
All
for him.
good. Just
But they're printed at a 316. Now, why would you want to print an exhaust or make an exhaust at a 316?
because that powder's readily available.
Correct. Well, you saved me a few sentences.
Sorry. Go
but
ahead. I
yeah, so
jumped in. I'm sorry.
It's readily available. Why is it readily available? It has nothing to do with automotive industry, medical, science, other. It's what's the term?
Commoditized.
No, there's the like. If you make coffee in a 321 cup, you're gonna die. You're not gonna die. You're gonna get chromium.
Oh yeah, it's stabilized. It's
Okay.
it's NSF certified. 316 is good for cookware.
Yeah, it's the first pure grade of stainless, but there's like another term for it. But so it's guys will argue you can use it because it has less creep, less chance of cracking and breaking. However, it actually has a lower melting point than 304.
Yep.
And less strength than 304 at high temperature.
So it's chemically more stable as far as when you look at it from a 3D printing standpoint, but from a use in an exhaust standpoint, it is inferior. It's a marine grade stainless for sailboats and like rope hooks that sit on a sailboat at room temperature in corrosive environments and salt water. And they're great for that, but you probably shouldn't heat it up.
Yeah. There's what's rough? It's like 1/4, 347 on which really find another place that'll do 347. We've checked a few others here. And they're
Oh
like,
my
"You
God.
can't print that." I'm like,
Yeah, we're not filling our tool up with that.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
exactly.
because acidic leaching. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
you
That's what
know.
you're looking for. Thank you,
I
Justin.
failed my material science class that I didn't take. So,
That's why we have Justin. Jamie fills in the gaps
we
when
had
Justin
someone
doesn't know.
a while ago asked, well, how do you know it's 347 and not something else? I'm like, well, I know, and I could explain why I know. But if you're looking for something to dispute or argue about, then I say buy one of our systems and you can cut it apart and test it yourself.
100%.
I have nothing to prove with it. I don't need to. We
Right.
already know. And someone who has welded 321 or 347 would know right away once you weld it and deal with it, because the material is kind of a pain in the ass.
It's interesting to watch these guys. So we've gotten materials from all over the world for a long time, and so we bought some 321 stainless tubing a few years ago, and they're welding on it, and they're like, "This isn't right. This isn't welding right. This isn't 321. This must not be 321 because it is not welding the way that it should," which makes sense. The way that the ultimate test of material is if your previous experience with it, especially when you're melting it and you're changing its phase repeatedly, is reacting completely different than your previous experience, then it's obviously different. Do we know exactly what's different about it? Are we forensic scientists and can figure it out, get your ICP mass spec and tell you the atomic structures of it and blah, 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 blah? No. We could send it off and have it done. That's expensive. Not worth it. Toss it. That's not what we wanted.
We actually did do that
Oh, I know.
with a few pieces to
Yeah.
somebody that I know that did it for free because he was.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
no name, company drop, nothing.
Right.
We'll get in trouble.
He'll
Um,
This is the guy that gets called for when Boeing airplane crashes to forensically
some of that
reverse
stuff, so-
engineer.
was curious
How it
talking about
happened.
it, whichever, and did that with a few other things. But yeah, there's even 304 has a range that it's 304, and then it becomes 303 or 308, roughly. Some people will tell me I'm wrong with that. I'm just
A
being
heat range,
simple. Well,
use
the
range,
30
right?
303 is
That's the machinable 304,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
so they pull all the carbon out of it to make it 304 to make it weldable.
Right.
But now it doesn't want to machine as
Right.
well. So,
Right.
but then 303 just cuts away. It's not stable. But and then 308 and 310, I forget. There's this whole. They're all 98% the same, and then the range of the molecules in them and stuff. And
Right.
321 isn't much different from that, and then 347 isn't much different, but it's that little
it's
0.5% that
the,
makes all
the, the devil's in the details with materials, honestly. And I don't know, there was a video going around a few months, maybe 10, 11 months about
Some of you people not hear me or can hear me better now, or
that's better. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Pull that closer to your mouth. That's good.
It
Like
is me.
I could hear you better. Hey, thanks, Kimmy.
Is that better?
So there was an interview with, I forget who the hell it was, who was commenting about the appropriate materials used for an exhaust. And he was going off on titanium, that titanium is the wrong material to use for an exhaust. And in general, here at Dunham Motorsports, we agree with that. We don't disagree that titanium is a challenging material to use in an exhaust. Titanium doesn't like to have carbon contamination. That's one. You're like, get closer to the mic. I can't hear you. And I'm talking out of my ass because I know this as a chemical engineer, but I don't know this as a. I know this as a guy that is involved in producing these parts, but I don't know this firsthand from welding it.
There's a reason a lot of materials they actually, example, why do they say speed of light is 186,000 miles per second in a vacuum?
Correct.
So if you take materials, say titanium,
Yeah.
and you heat it up in a vacuum where there's no other materials, not even an inert gas or anything, the melting temp of it is higher, and it is more stable than an austenitic stainless. But down here on planet Earth,
That's $10 word for all you listening.
is it 10?
Maybe 12.
Okay, with inflation, it's probably 10.
Certainly more than 6.
Maracinetic might be like a little more. Ooh, there we go. Big words. I'm gonna get home and Lydia's gonna be like,
What's that?
no, she's gonna tell me what it is.
Oh, even
Um,
better.
but-
And just for those who don't know, she's
6.
6. That's right.
But that's something that matters, and that doesn't apply because we're not at that point. We have our wonderful atmosphere we have to deal with. So
Everything in the
yeah,
the shitty part of our atmosphere is that it's oxygen.
all the grain.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
We've got some learned individuals in this, but the atmosphere is great if we stayed in the argons and the kryptons and the nitrogens and all those atmospheric components. The shitty one's oxygen because it's very reactive.
I was just gonna say, can we take a GT3 RS, put it on the outside of the International Space Station and run it, where it's like 50% oxygen content up there?
Ooh,
That shit would break pretty fast.
it probably would. Yeah,
Our stuff won't, but
interesting.
347 would.
So we have to get with Elon Musk to see if we can launch that shit into orbit first.
Yeah, go find the Model S.
The model, yeah. Go find the
But it has
roadster
to
that's
run the
up
whole
there.
time.
Right. The tune for that would be really
I'll put a brick on the I'll put a brick on the
altitude.
gas pedal and then we'll launch it up.
the altitude tune for that would be
Yeah.
pretty insane. So anyway, the thing that I found, I don't know, off-putting about this most recent social media encounter was that someone who's within 20 miles of our shop would rather listen to someone on the internet, some random person on the internet, not an authority on the internet, but a random person on the internet, versus ask anyone. Your shirt is fantastic.
My daughter and wife got me this for Christmas. So
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
Charlie loves Taylor Swift. She's a Swiftie.
Not
so
a
she's,
surprise.
like,
Not a
thinks
surprise.
it's great.
She's
she's
in the
seen it
tween. She's approaching tweens age. She's
Yeah.
12,
11.
11. Yeah.
Might as well be 12.
She's getting there. Yeah.
I didn't even tell her.
She acts like she's 30 when she's on camera. So she's very poised, very smart.
She'd be here every day if she could. So
Yeah. So anyway, it was just the fact that somebody was believing social media bullshit over calling. I mean, he's literally 1 degree of separation from my cell phone number. Like one, literally one. Pick up the phone, dude. You got a beautiful new car. Call. I'm happy to talk about that. Come on down. Yeah, the internet never lies. That's the shit, right? So we're not hiding nothing here. We'll be as legit as we can without selling company secrets out as to why we are able to do what we're able to do. We are certainly not like the Alibaba famous social media exhaust companies with their blue and clear pie cut awesomeness, twisty.
pre-contaminated for your pleasure.
Yeah, pre-contaminated. The reason it's blue is because it's got oxygen contamination. But isn't that pretty? Yeah, it's pretty, but it fucking sucks. It's gonna fall apart. So don't think that because somebody has 1 million followers on Instagram, they know what the fuck they're doing. That's the first thing. That just means they have 1 million followers on Instagram. Does not mean they know what the fuck they're doing. Second thing is, dipshit from whoever's got an axe to grind troll land also doesn't necessarily have your best interest in mind when they're saying you should buy some shit from Alibaba for your $300 million car or $300,000 car.
You know what?
Anyway,
We should. This would be entertainment for. I mean, it's definitely a troll job and kind of a hack with the pie cut there. Why don't we print pie cuts? But normally they'll do them the quote easy way, and they just laser cut them out of the tube, so the wall thickness is the same.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll do them in 10 or 15 degree increments. So say you have 10 of them there. So why
Yep.
don't we make yeah, 90 degrees in a bend.
Yep.
Why don't we do them in like 1 degree slivers?
Yeah,
instead?
let's do 90 welds to make a 90-degree bend.
But then let's not stop there. Let's make all the straight cuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we could call them cold cuts, but
Cool. Nah.
I don't think we could.
Salty's going to be like, wait.
Oh, no, I didn't say we're gonna weld it. We're just
Okay.
gonna make the kit, the build your own exhaust kit.
Oh,
that's got
okay. I was like, because
17,000
literally that's
printed
going to
die cuts
be
in it.
like, Solomon would stare at that and be like, this is going to take me two years to weld all this shit together.
Is that
If
so?
if you want me to be able to weld this the way that we weld it, it's not possible.
But if you tell everybody, hey, this is only a $4,000 exhaust, so you DIY weld it yourself.
We'll sell you the parts. Good luck. MIG welder included.
Argon tank outside. Gas not included.
Yeah. I get in trouble. So we have some customers that tell me, you don't need, you guys are awesome. You do everything so well. You don't need to denigrate your competition.
They do it for us. Wait, what?
And it's not that I'm denigrating our competition. I'm just bringing awareness to what we'll term the Dundon way to build things and everybody else's.
I do love the phrase aerospace grade 304. I don't know anybody in aerospace that's ever used 304.
And this is why we have to spend so freaking much for 321 and 347 when we want it. Because crazy, that's what aerospace actually uses.
That's Alan that was here. I was telling him that the typical, hey, 304 is, $6 a foot.
Right.
You buy it 20 feet at a time, 100 feet at a time.
It's what our
Currently-
U-line stainless steel benches down there are made from.
Yeah.
For food grade shit.
Yeah, they're not even 316.
Right.
But then the current ATSM, whatever, 96,405 grade, something 321 that Boeing's getting currently is
Yep.
$78 a foot, but we have to buy 1,000 feet at a time. And they're like, oh, that's not too bad. And I'm like, you suck at math.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's try that again.
I'm like, I don't want to send you $78,000 if I can help it. Shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
We're not $100 billion company. We're not. So buying $78,000 of tubing is still a lot. It's still a lot. So this is what we do for y'all. We find elegant solutions that marry global supply chains in the technologically advantageous and materially advantageous ways to not give up anything and gain a lot. That's the simplest way to say it.
Something we should do, going over numbers,
Yeah.
the bill at everything world.
Oh,
So
literally.
I'm not anti-bill at everything, but it's just everyone's
It's
got
oversold.
everyone's got a FDM fillet 3D printer. Everyone's got a desktop CNC machine. We should total up the amount of parts we sell that are printed, because we sell a lot
Yeah.
of printed nylon stuff,
Yeah.
and see what the percentage of sales are of parts that are printed.
Versus billet.
That's like 1,000 to 1, but just in general out of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
total,
yeah.
just because we're literally printing.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
much
we're
stuff.
like Rocket Labs or Archer Aerospace or we're literally on the cutting edge. We're just not public, and people don't appreciate it. We show people the things that we're 3D printing, and it's crazy. Phillips College, he told them they just got 3D. He went to school in
Montana.
Montana. And those think, oh, there's no real big schools. He went to a school that's very, very well known for their welding program. And he took a specialty that I didn't know even actually existed. It's an offshoot of mechanical engineering. It's a welding specialty. So he's a mechanical engineer. He got a mechanical engineering degree. Sorry, fruit fly in my face because I'm drinking something sweet. And his professor was like, wait, hold up. You guys are actually producing parts with 3D printed from 3D printed metal? And Philip's like, yeah. What? Why wouldn't we? He's like, holy crap, this is cutting edge shit. And you guys are actually producing parts with this? Yes, we are. You're welcome to come visit anytime. So maybe we should have Philip's professor come and visit.
Probably wouldn't. So downstairs earlier with Alan.
That's my instructor too.
Yeah.
Oh, serious?
yeah.
We should
same
have them
thing.
both. Yeah.
The on the row down below there.
Yeah,
with
just
it.
all the parts, right?
3/4 of that is all printed.
I know.
On the shelf now.
Right.
So it's kind of crazy. It was like he's like, oh, show me something printed. I'm like, cat outlet, collector, different collector, another collector,
Right.
cope, header bends, this,
Right.
that.
All the hard shit to make from like we've literally cut processes down from days to minutes because we're able to 3D print some of this stuff, not actually have to hand fabricate it. And no, I'm not interested in buying some American company's $3 million 3D printer because that would make it completely upside down. That's why global supply chains. So those of you who want to start your own business and put your money where your mouth is, give me a call. The rest of you, shut the fuck up.
Put your money where the Shopify checkout page is.
Beautiful. Thank you. I get a little fired up when people want to challenge me about some shit that we have made very prudent, educated decisions about, and they think they know better. That's the part that I get beefy about.
Retail.
Oh, we go on Amazon?
No, online metals.
Online metals. Okay, it looks like Amazon. That's actually legit. Yeah. $53 for 321.
Hold on. Do they have inch 7/8, 321? Or 2 1/8? Because I bet it is triple that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
inch 3/4 available because one of the rocket
Nuclear submarines
one of the rocket engine producers
uses a shitload of
they
that,
use
yeah.
all inch 3/4 049 wall.
Right.
So
Yeah, the if we could stick to if we
we
this
could
is
stick to the sizes that are available, which I never do.
no.
Actually,
no.
that's the nice thing about printing
Yeah.
is that the diameter of the exhaust pipes, all of them, primary, whichever, all the ducts,
Right.
everybody builds stuff based on what's available that they can just go get tubing, bends off wherever,
Yeah.
bend it. And here now I'm like, do all the math, nerd out a bit, say, oh, this is the size it needs to be. So then
And we can get exactly that size.
printed it that
Yeah.
size. And
Yeah.
what's the power difference between, say, inch 7/8 and 2 inch off the head? On some, it's not much, but there's a few where even because I'll do this, build it and test it, it's 5-6 horsepower, 5-6 horsepower. So
Yep.
it's there and available, but it'll be a random 2.08 outside diameter or something. Oh, it's the inside that matters, not the outside. So I got to go backwards with that. But
Right.
it's nice not having that constraint or,
Yeah.
oh, you got to do it on a 3-inch radius or a 4-inch radius.
Yeah,
Well,
we can actually print it in things you can't bend.
16.5 millimeters because that's what works. Well, that, and then we have bends now that they're not even a bend on a bend on a bend. It is a multi-turning
And we
bend.
don't have to keep it round. Like on the GT4 RS wave pipes, we're actually bending it and keeping the cross-sectional area the same so that the wave and the flow are the same.
You want to know what's
we're able to morph this into a non-round tube and bring it back to round into where we need it to be.
the wave pipes actually, I don't know if you know this.
Probably
The
not.
cross-sectional area of the wave pipes change based on the ratio of area versus surface area, cross-sectional area
Sure.
versus surface area
Yeah.
to maintain the frictional coefficient based on
Nice.
flow. So
Nice.
it actually increases about 6% as it goes oval.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nothing, just, oh, it should be like this. Okay, do it.
It's just
So otherwise you flatten it down. Now you have,
knowing the
yeah.
reason why, right? Knowing the reason why and then designing from the reason why, not and relieving the constraint is a huge thing.
yeah, the 4RS one is the crazy.
Dude. Yeah, Roz, you know, that the 3D printed bits inside the RS muffler and all that if it weren't for 3D printing, that muffler could not exist. Could not exist. It would be, I mean, it's expensive.
The quiet
would
one
be-
would exist.
Oh, fuck. No one would buy the the quiet one. So anyway, I'm gonna go get some dinner It is 6:10. I'm sure Charles' family would like to see him. Does anyone have any questions for us? This is a little bit of a strange first Whiskey Friday. We did a little bit of ranting, but that was only because I was provoked. I maintain my defense. I was provoked, officer.
Someone poked your whiskey glass.
Someone poked my whiskey glass, literally. And if it wasn't a local guy, I wouldn't be so bent out of it. I was like, just fucking drive down here, for God's sake. Don't start throwing shit around saying that we are something we're not.
That would prove him wrong, though.
Correct.
Publicly.
And that would be dangerous, right? So yeah. Anywho, the rest of you, welcome to 2025. I'm hoping that your holidays were joyous, peaceful, and enjoyable, and that you get to drive your cars often. Roz, thank you for joining us. It's awesome to see you here. I assume that we will see you at the next Smokies coming up in April, starting at the Flat Rock Motorsports Park outside of Chattanooga,
No.
Tennessee? Is it Nashville? Knoxville, Tennessee. So we actually have someone local whose kid goes to University of Tennessee and he wants to join us. So I got to call Sean.
That's
see if I
funny
can-
because Alan, who lives in Knoxville, his younger daughter goes to UW.
Weird. They should just like charter a plane and like there and back kind of shit. So, yeah, totally. You probably should, dude. Come on. Chinese give me a break, Justin. Chinese visa. Jesus Christ. Only if we have to drive cars there and back will we end up in Austin. I'm hoping we don't have to drive, although driving them there would be pretty epic. We'll say that. Yeah, I know, right? Should be, especially the banked turns. Buddy of mine was telling me about that. Some of the corners at Flat Rock have like 45-degree banking.
Like into the corner?
Yeah, like through the corner,
Oh.
like actually a bank corner. So
we need to bring more rub blocks.
probably we're gonna compress the fuck out of the car. Everybody's gonna figure out how much compression.
We'll
the
just
car
have an
actually has.
option for some roller skate wheels on the bottom of them.
It's probably better, right?
Yeah.
Put it where the lift pucks are for the car. Just replace it with wheels. Yeah. All right, y'all. You have a good night. Always a pleasure. First Whiskey Friday. We'll have some more Whiskey Friday Academies for you as we get through. We've got a couple in the pipe. Should be ready in January. We'll talk about those. We've got always more development going. Always a pleasure to have Charles here on Whiskey Friday. Thank you for coming. Love the shirt. And you all have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you